Hello and welcome to New Junction. Now, in part one, we saw the templates being created, and then the plywood being cut out and stuck together, etc., and then sanded into position, which is how you see the platform on the right hand side was left. Since then, it was thought that to the naked eye, as they were left, the platform on the right hand side looks too tall, even though in reality it's not. As we go in for a closer look, this is the platform on the right. You can see the top is just under the door step. Now, of course, in reality, station platforms vary massively, whether it be height or distance from the coach itself. But as you see here, this is absolutely bang on level with the door, and in effect perfect height. However, like we said, it just looks ever so slightly too tall to the eye, and of course by the time we put either paint or a card top on top, it will really be too tall. So we had to get the sander out again and take the top off. This is the opposite platform, the one that has had the top removed. It's not even a mill that's come off, but you can really see the difference is massive, because you can see just underneath the step is a touch more realistic, and of course by the time it's painted, etc., it just allows enough of the coach to be seen to make it look like a real platform at the right height. So let's get the other side done. And just like that, we're done. That probably took about half an hour, but it's well worth it. It just didn't quite look right, even though it was bang on. The one just taking a mill off the top makes all the difference, and it's got to look right. Next on the agenda, I'm going to tape up the track, ready to give this platform its base coat of a sort of grey colour, and that'll be the foundation that we can build the actual scenery from. So that's what we're doing now. I should point out, throughout all these sanding episodes and painting, etc., I do wear a face mask, and it is worth wearing one just to protect your lungs. You'll soon be coughing with all the sand that comes off them. Right, let's get taping. And there we are, all taped up nicely. Don't forget, any you get on the baseboard isn't a problem. Any even on this straight piece of track isn't really a problem, because you just cover it over. But if any drips got in, the most important bits to make sure are covered are all your point work, as we see here. That has to be well covered just in case. But otherwise, everything else will be covered in scenery going forward, so it really doesn't matter on any spills or anything. But here we go. For this undercoat, I'm literally using a humbrol acrylic spray. This one is Ocean Grey 106. Won't focus at all. In matte, and that'll just be my undercoat. So here goes. And there we are. Unfortunately that spray can didn't last as long as I wanted it to. I must have used it previously. What I'm going to do is I've been to my local B&Q again, and I've bought these sample pots. This is asphalt grey, and they're about just over £1 each. So I'm going to cover the platforms with them now, and that'll work quite nicely as an undercoat. I say undercoat not in the sense of painting, more in the sense of I suppose station detailing. Eventually I'll be decorating these up with I suppose platform edge stones, etc., and painting up with various lines. Also these screws will need a bit of polyfiller on top of them, and then that's sanding down and covering over. This is more just a temporary measure, because I wanted to get it to a standard where I can have my trains running again. Also, there's going to be this, even though the station is fixed in position, there might still be a bit of jiggery pokery, moving it round and whatnot when the signals come into play, and when ultimately my station canopy comes in. Depending on how it fits, they might need moving ever so slightly or sanding. I know certainly the signals, which will be on the platform edge, will need drilling in. So there's no point putting a sort of nice card fascia or plastic card or whatnot on there at the moment, because it's a bit early, but giving it a nice colour of grey works very well. So let's get painting. And there we are, a pair of painted platforms. Now, a few tips for you, especially if using a brush, because brushes do leave stroke marks. If I zoom you in here, you'll be able to see there's the brush lines. You want those to be going the same direction, so not necessarily when you first put on the paint, but it's always a good idea to paint in the same direction. I've gone right to left. The brush strokes will go down as it dries and the paint settles overnight. However, if you've gone any which direction, the marks may still show up, and it just doesn't look very realistic. If that was a concrete platform, they'd lay it in one direction. If this is my viewing angle, you can see the tops and the sides are painted. Another top tip for you is never forget the other side. So as you see, if I turn you around, might be a bit in the shadow, but that side is painted, whereas that side isn't so far. I'm about to do that. It's a real shame if you put all the effort in here, sort of the 90% effort on this side, only to then try and take a photo from a different angle as you do, later on, only to find that you've not done the opposite side. So it's always important to paint everything. So even though you can't see it generally, you've got to treat it as though it's viewable, as one day it might be. So the next thing for me, I'm going to let this dry, and then we're going to mask out some white lines for the platforms. Again, only temporary, but with the signals and lighting coming next, they'll just help me better position them with a basic white line on the edge. So I'll see you in a day. And there we are. One day later, the grey paint's all dry and smoothed out nicely, and what I've done is I've now taped it up, ready for the temporary white lines. Just add a bit of detail. Eventually, because I'll have another top to it which will stick out, which will normally have the platform curb side, what I'm doing is I'm just putting a nice white edge on the platform just to give it that touch of detail, because I suppose I don't know how long it will be before I get round to doing the station detail. So I just wanted to have something temporary, so this should finish it off quite nicely. So let's get painting those stripes and we'll see it when it's done. Just like that, all painted. So we'll give that 24 hours to dry. Might take a tad longer as it's still really cold. I suppose I should say I used the sample pot of paint from the B&Q Colours Premium Kitchen range, and this one is Antique White. Again, just another pot of paint which was about £1.30, so you can't really go wrong with that. So this, because I've painted a light colour on a dark colour, it might need a second coat tomorrow, but we'll soon find out. So join me instantly when we see what it looks like. Now here we are with the masking tape off. Bit of a slight disaster, but I wanted to show you in all honesty how it is. My paint unfortunately has bled through the masking tape, so you can see I've not got very nice straight lines at all. So I'm going to cover that back over with a bit of grey paint, and quite literally do it again. This time with some better quality tape, I think. And there we go. You can see the white lines have been painted over again. What I've decided is, because I'm going to cover it over with the plasticard and the station cover sooner than expected. I mean, although this video is around probably the 15-minute mark, again, it's taken me a number of weeks, so now we're at this stage. For me, it's been quite a long time, so I'm actually closer to getting the stuff to cover it with than I was at the start of the video, shall we say. While I've got you, this is a good opportunity to try and show an early example of what I'm trying to achieve. A few of you, I think, have been a bit confused with the length of the platform space, etc. Where the end of the banana train is, that is actually going to be the scenic break, so it's going to look as if the station carries on. So in reality, the station's going to look like it just goes forward. So although the station is, I think, reasonably long, but it's not long enough for, say, that Virgin liveried HST. That's just going to have to sit, and you can see going across, it just sticks out onto the layout the other side. But I think you just about get a gist now. So looking down the station, the idea is when it's finally done, you won't be able to see past the end of the trains too easily. It'll be difficult to see it with a canopy and whatnot. So it'll look like it just goes on and on and on, and then leaves me some running space. But for now, this is where we leave it. Again, thank you very much for tuning in. It's been another long one. I hope you enjoy it, and I'll see you in part 3. But as ever, thank you for watching. Take care.